Hello YouTube and welcome to today's video. I very recently played a game of Graves with Bo's build and I got a better understanding of how Bo is playing and how to play as a carry jungler such as Graves. And in today's video I just want to go through my thought process and tell you how you guys can obtain similar results such as having 10 CS per minute and being able to be one of the main carries, if not the main character in the entire game. So the first thing is I will start with Green Smite and Sweeper if I plan on invading. And in this situation we see that they have a ward, so I initially thought of invading but realized that we can't because they put a ward, so I just want to remove the ward, and by removing the ward my laners will now be able to get level 2 of just the first wave rather than 6 minions and 1 minion on wave 2, which Camille can now do. And then I basically just focus on farming. So I then figure out, well, where do I want to path? And I realized that I have a Varus and Janna in bot lane and I'm playing Graves with no CC, so it's gonna be pretty much impossible to gank bot lane unless enemy bot lane is overextended. But I don't expect that because we have double range on bot lane and they don't. So I'm pathing up towards Camille. Even though Malphite is a tank on the enemy team, Camille is a damage that does true damage and can split push very well. And that basically means that I have a slight higher chance of ganking top lane than bot lane in this game. So for Graves, when I spectated Bo, he basically would put point in W even if he focused on just farming to be able to pull his camps closer to him and get E stacks. So I pretty much did the same thing. And for the most part you just full clear on this champion because the ganks are not that good. And therefore you're kind of limited in terms of early game options, but you will make up for that, which you'll also see in this game when we make it later into the game. So I just power farm, realize the top is being pushed in, mid lane has base, so there's absolutely nothing for me to do on the top side, so I just recall with a double longsword and go back to farming my Crux. So they'll spawn here in a second, there we go. And then I'm once again just clearing up. So even though Nuno has already ganked once, and he's actually about to gank here again, I am here for the counter gank, but there's nothing I can do. And unfortunately it ends up, actually it does end up being a 1-for-1 trade. Here I decide to push the wave because it was gonna slow push into enemy anyway. But then Ryze is here, and I'm basically not able to crash in the wave unfortunately because of the 2v3. So I have to back off. Unfortunately that puts my bot lane in a very bad position in terms of their wave. But luckily the wave is too big for the enemy team to freeze it, but Kai'Sa still manages to get most of the CS. So that sucks, but nothing we can do about it. On the other hand, we are gaining a little bit on mid lane for the fact that Ryze roamed without gaining anything. Unfortunately my top laner gets solo killed here as well, but it doesn't really do too much for me. I will just focus on farming. And then I will go help my mid lane here. We end up trading 1-for-1. And once again, the wave is slow pushing into the enemy, so we want to crash this. So I'm basically just pushing this wave in. Pyke tries and freezes it, but fails, which is pretty good for us. I was thinking about invading the Nuno red buff, but realized that I don't really need to do it at this point. It's better to just farm up and play it safe. I don't really need to risk anything. So then now I have full clear 2 times and I base. Didn't quite have enough for my Umbral Glaive. I needed like 70 gold for it, which sucks. But it's better to base and spend your gold rather than stay out on the map and wait for you to have a full completed item. And once again, we're just power farming for the 3rd time now. Luckily, Nuno has not done any of the objectives, so those are still free for us to take if we have push and are stronger than our opponents. Small fight happening here in mid lane. I'm just here to basically tax a little bit. As soon as I see my laners are basing or out of position, that kind of puts me in a position where if I'm close, I can just quickly go in and take some of the CS. Unfortunately, Nunu is sneaking the Rift Herald and ends up taking it, but we end up killing him for it. And because he dies, I instantly go in and counter jungle him. So I farm his Raptors here, and then I go into his Crux here as well. And then I just focus on farming down again. So need to finish my own top quadrant now. Nunu takes the dragon, that's okay. I got his top side for it, which I don't really mind. It's not really that important of a Drake, being the first Drake, but also a Cloud Drake is not something that is insanely high value to me. So I would rather be individually ahead on a carry jungler compared to getting the Drake for the team. So I base now and I get my Umbral and I get my Iron Spike and a Longsword, which I'll build into a Gore Drinker. We're basically just following Bo's build. It's also his runes that we're using. Unfortunately my bot lane dies, but it doesn't matter too much because I get to tax another wave. And then I just decide to push a full wave in. And then here we have a little bit of an outplay. I end up basically getting a triple kill. We can get that just in slow motion, just to showcase the power of it. So I shove the wave, I see that the Pyke is here, I dodge the Nunu W. I ulti, smite auto on the Pyke, then I flash onto the Kai'Sa, minions finish her off. I get my Triumph, and then I auto the Nunu as well, and I get a triple kill. And the reason why I'm capable of doing this is because of the fact that I had just based. So before all of this, you would see that I just based, I only have 400 gold in the bank. And then after all of this, then I will have 2.1k. And then I basically just fed again and can buy even more items. I would not be able to do this if I hadn't based or if Janna wasn't here. And obviously it also requires some mechanics and a little bit of limit testing. But it ends up paying off here. And then I basically just go for the tower here as well to maximize the amount of gold I can get. And then I finish my Gore Drinker and now start building into my Black Cleaver. This also means I now have a 2-level lead onto Nunu, which means I'm not afraid of taking any fights. So I was looking for a fight here, but Camille just solo kills the Pyke with ult. That's okay, I just keep on farming. And even though we gave up the early game objectives, we're still strong, we still managed to get the first tower and counter jungle. Meaning that basically the game is on us in order to carry, because some of our teammates ended up suffering from the fact that Nunu ended up ganking and gaining objectives, while we were kind of just able to tax our laners, being able to shove different lanes in, take some waves, counter jungle, and basically just being a selfish jungler. So here we play for the Infernal Dragon because it's second dragon, and Infernal Dragon is really, really nice. Very, very strong Drake. And then we basically just cross map because we know that the enemy team is on top side of the map. So I'm like, okay, you guys can have the top side, I'll focus on the bot side. And yeah, we basically just push here. Our team ends up fighting on top lane, which ideally is not a good thing to do because we don't have vision and no one is really contesting us on bot lane. But they end up buying a lot of time and we get the wave. But from a macro perspective, enemy team should just be able to hard win that 5v3 on the top side of the map. And then recall to stop us by the time we get try to take the inhib tower. But yeah, we ended up just getting 2 towers, which is very, very huge, right? And we only slightly lost the fight on top side. So overall, we gained way more gold than enemy team. And again, I just focus on farming. At this point, 17 minutes in, we have 179 CS. So basically 10 CS a minute. I shove a wave here in bot lane. I then base. Have all my item components for Black Cleaver, and then I see a fight happening on top. Also have my top side camps up, so this is why I'm going here. I'm very, very strong coming out of base. Just bought as many items as possible. And I'm not really afraid of fighting, even if outnumbered, because I'm very, very strong. So here, once again, we end up killing the Kai'Sa. We're very close to killing all of them. Malphite lives on 1 HP, Nunu lives on 1 HP. Pyke is very low as well. But we end up winning the fight, we get 2 kills, and I again get to counter jungle. So I basically take 3 of his topside camps, just walk through the tower, take 2 additional camps here. And now we are basically 3 levels up on our opponent. Here I'm basically just covering for Varus so that he can shove the wave safely, and in case someone engages on him, then I'm there to make it a 2v1 in our favor. I basically just use him as a bait. We then recall, we get our Black Cleaver. So we're now even stronger. Unfortunately, enemy team sneaks a Baron here, which I was very surprised by and actually quite upset that we had teammates being dead and them being able to get the Baron when I'm this strong. But there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to focus on the bot side of the map, where we can take the second Drake, which we then do. And here I basically don't want to fight because they have Baron buff. So I just want to make sure that they can't push by taking the waves. And my team ends up actually going in here, but I'm not the biggest fan of fighting against champions like Malphite. So a little bit of a miscommunication there. I basically just wanted the Drake and get out, which is what we did. While my team wanted to look for a fight, which I didn't agree with. Here unfortunately I end up getting picked off, which is quite bad because I end up giving a 700, well basically 1000 gold to Ryze. Very, very bad thing. It comes from just me being autopilot mode and not paying attention to where enemy team is on the map. But that is fully my fault and I should never die there. But I now build into my Serylda's Grudge. And the reason for Serylda's is because of the fact that they have Malphite who's a tank, Nunu who's a tank, and Ryze who will eventually buy some armor as well. And once again, we come out of base, we just focus on farming, no objectives up on the map, so nothing disastrous can really happen except for getting aced. But we're very, very strong. I snipe the Ryze with my ulti. I face tank the Nunu ult. We kill the Malphite. Basically just ace the enemy team. And you could say that I should have been fighting with my team on the Drake fight and possibly we could have won. But I was just not thinking about fighting, and that's why I didn't take the fight. If I was thinking and planning and prepared for taking a fight, I would definitely take it. Even though I think enemy team comp is quite good for 5v5 and ours is a little bit better for just skirmish fights or splitting. But it simply just wasn't a thought to fight after Drake. If we had to fight for the dragon, it would maybe be a little bit different, but we could obviously give it up because it's on the second one for enemy team. But yeah, I basically chose not to. I'm not sure if it was 100% the correct or incorrect choice there, but we could go and analyze it, but that's not really the point of this video. The point of this video is just to focus on being a carry jungler and the mindset of being a carry jungler and playing selfish and how to actually carry a game with a lot of resources. So we take the third dragon of the game, very, very free, uncontested by the enemy team. I then want to push so that we can prepare for Baron. Enemy team is once again looking for a pick off here. I'm now 4 levels ahead of enemy Nunu actually. And we basically just outplay enemy team. We can put that one in slow motion again to go over the entire team fight. So I have to just buy a lot of time. I'm not really afraid of the enemy team here, because the follow-up from Malphite is very little right now in my opinion. So, and I still have Goredrinker, I still have Flash, I have pretty much everything up. And now I have Janna, so now I'm actually moving into them. Still being outnumbered though. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my ulti off fast enough. I E-flash out of the Pyke ulti so it doesn't get resets. I don't have to move out of the Nunu ulti because, yeah, otherwise I'm pretty sure I would die. And we basically just kill all of them and get a Baron. And then I basically realized that we can't really push any inhibs or inhib towers because the enemy team will respawn and I don't want to throw. So I'm just pushing all the waves in, taking all jungle camps away from Nunu to put me at a 5 level lead. And I finished my Cyrildas and I believe I end up building into a Malphite Mortius. I was considering Malphite Mortius and Death Dance, but I think I end up committing to Malphite Mortius. But 28 minutes into the game and I'm 300 CS, almost full build, and yeah, just pretty much insanely tanky while still having quite some damage. Fortunately here I end up getting picked off. I am very confused why I have 3 teammates in bot side jungle and a teammate on the bottom inhib, because in my opinion we can always take the bot inhib, but we can't take mid inhib before we take the tower. So in my opinion we should take mid inhib or mid inhib tower, take mid inhib, and then we can take bot inhib. But it ended up not mattering because my teammates just end up acing the enemy team and my Varus getting a pentakill, and then we end up winning the game. And at the end of the game I am 6-2 and 8 with 319 CS in a 29-minute game. So I hope this showcased what the mindset is for a carry jungler. Because, as Bo basically says, if you are playing a champion that is capable of 1v9ing, you should also 1v9 and look to take as many resources as possible. And that way you can become a carry jungler and basically be a 1v9 carry and not rely on your teammate as much. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like. If you have any questions regarding the game, then leave a comment in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. And then otherwise subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And then I just want to say good luck in season 13. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in my next YouTube video. Bye bye.